Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Yakminakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. Now, I don't have a full title for this one. More than likely, something along the lines of "E can feel the end coming in their bones," or something like that, right? Now, I believe a long while ago, all right, in the grand scale of things, is how Babylonian time works, all right, like a year, maybe a year and a half ago. I think I talked about one of these posts, because people have been making posts like this quite frequently for like the past like 2 to 3 years, and there wasn't really any of that before the 2-3 years ago, right? And I've been seeing a lot of these posts, and I'll read the title of this one because they're all about the same. I'll actually go and read all the posts for you, the titles. So this one says, and this one's just 5 hours ago, and I made sure they're all by different people because I was like, okay, maybe it's the same schizo, right, that's posting the same thing over and over again, and it's not. So this is from 5 hours ago by Soup Stew Supremacy. You know, Reddit names are always dumb. It says, anyone else feel like the world is holding its breath right now? Something big is going to happen soon? Here's this one. This is by Minimum Question 6067, generic name generation, right? It says, does anyone else feel like something big is about to happen? This was 8 months ago. Over here, 1 month ago, actually we'll do them by order of time. 1 month ago, Anxious Interview 18 says, does anyone else feel like something big is coming and no one's talking about it? And finally, this one's from 2 years ago, and this is from Upstairs Cat 2098. Does anyone else feel like something big is coming? Okay? In a matter of fact, if you go, anyone feel like something is about to happen, you'll see almost all the posts are from about no longer than 3 or 4 years ago on average, five, we'll say 5, because that would be 2020, so 5, 6, because COVID times, right? So, on max, right? But you got 2 years ago, 2023, 2019, 2021, 2 years ago, 2024, 4 years ago. Well, this is a song called I Feel Like Something Good's About to Happen. The Gather music. Well, it'd be funny if this. I've never heard of this. It'd be funny if they were so-called black people. No, they're Edomites. But, 2018, almost close to 2019, 2024, 2021, 2020, right? So very, very recent. And a matter of fact, if you just go to Reddit and you go all the way up and you just go to more results from Reddit, you can go and look at all of these different things. 3 years ago, so like there was something on the screen. Actually, 1 minute. But yeah, you can see them. How do I want to do it? I wanted to read one of these. Anyone who feel somewhere out of where that's PTSD. It's not like the world's ending. Well, you'd be wrong. You must not have it fully. Does anybody else feel like something very bad is coming? And that was 4 years ago. That was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2021. So, yeah. You can go and look through these and you'll see anxiety. Let's read this one. This is from 2 months ago. Let's open that up. Says, anyone here ever feel like something bad will happen instead of scared something will happen? All the time. That's on the anxiety Reddit. But why do you think so many people are having anxiety at such an all-time high, man? It's because, the uncertainty. People are afraid, right? They feel it, but they can't explain it, okay? They can feel it, but they can't explain it. They can feel it in their bones and their core. They can feel the vibration, right? But they can't spiritually understand what's happening, all right? They can't put what do they call it? They can't put a pin in the board, right? And the cork board. They can't really put as a term for it. They can't really determine what that is. They just have that feeling. Okay, now us three Halbash Meow Shy, we know what that feeling is, and we don't really get that feeling of impending doom as like they get it. All right, we know that something bad is coming, but we don't have that. Like, they have that primal fear because deep down inside, something in them is letting them know. It'd be Halbash Meow Shy, but there's a feeling that's going on them that's letting them know that their time is running out. Something bad is about to happen, and something bad that's about to happen is their time running out. All right, and it doesn't mean it is just as simple as death, okay, or them losing their home or their family, right? It's deeper than that. It's about them losing their kingdom, all right? And they can feel this in their bones. They know something's happened. They know something's shaking. They know something's stirring. They know something's brewing, but they just don't know quite what it is, right? So, you can see right here, this is from eight months ago. I don't know if this is the same one, but we can go open in a new private window. Coraline's Butt Nice. So this is a different person, but it says, does anyone else feel like something big is on the verge of happening? It says, maybe a disaster, maybe just a huge development in world affairs, but maybe a disaster. It just feels like we're about to have another big thing. It's 9 months ago. And this person incorrectly says, being chronically online causes this feeling. Never before in history were we able to access information this fast and this easy. There have been way worse moments in history. We just know everything instantly, and it's very easily getting overwhelmed. Well, I can easily debunk this, okay? People were chronically online for a long time. All right. I mean, if you look back into like 2005, 2006, those were like the glory days, as they call it, of the internet. People were online all the time, playing World of Warcraft, IMVU, all right, Habbo Hotel, talking with each other, AOL, right, different chat rooms and stuff. And no one had, MySpace, no one had this dread, okay? And there was news going out, okay? No one had this this fear of doom, okay? I remember when the swine flu pandemic kicked out. Well, they called it one, all right? Nobody was even really that worried. There was only like maybe one kid at my school that wore a mask, and everybody thought that kid was weird, okay? I looked at him like, why are you wearing a mask? I said, my parents are making me. And that was back in, 07, 08, right? And other than that, we still went around. We carried on our business, played video games and shit. I mean, that's when really shit started getting bad was, right around 08, okay? Recession, all the other shit going on. So that's when, stuff started getting bad, okay? But no one really had a feeling of impending doom up into that point, okay? This person said, for years I've been waiting for something to happen. It's like you're anticipating something major to shift, but you have no clue for the what or for the when or what. And that's great, man. It says it's a bit of a broken clock fallacy, though, isn't it? Or in it. English. In it. You keep generally saying something big will happen. Eventually you'll be right. Well, yeah, but I mean, these people, why is it that it's only primarily within the last 3 years that people are saying they really feel something in their bones, that something is happening, right? It says, I hope it's just a feeling, but yes, something devastating, like a massive explosion or some civil unrest. It says, but it's all civil unrest. It's true. It says, as somebody living in the Baltic states, I had this feeling prior to the Russian invasion of Ukraine. It says, if you haven't felt the new reality since August 2020, you are cooked. Yeah, things are different. They're not the same. Okay, things are different, and this is coming from someone who likes to live in about 2000 from the 90s up until about 2005. All right, that's where all my games and stuff that I like for the most part. I mean, there's ones that came after that I like, but the games that I like, a lot of the music, it was up until at least that point. Humorous style, right? I'll still call someone a retard if they're acting like it, right? I didn't get indoctrinated. Oh, you can't say the R word. Fuck you, retard. I'm gonna say it if I want to say it. The R word. The R word. You're acting like it's a fucking slur. It is a slur. The R slur. It's not a slur. All right, dumbass is a slur then, if you want to say that. All right, shit stain's a slur. Cocksucker's a slur. Bitch, bastard, and motherfucker's a slur, if you really want to get down to it, right? But you don't just, oh, that's a slur. No, jigaboo, spick, all right, gook, those are slurs, all right? Those are racial slurs. Yeah, so what, we're having mental slurs now? All right, well, why is an idiot, dolt, dumb, and moron in there? All right, because some of those are terms that could hurt your wee little feelings, right? And for example, moron was the first term. If you go and look up what was, it's like you. It's like for that. What was the first term mentally challenged people were called? Because mentally challenged, there was special ed, gifted, right? Retard, moron, dumb, idiot, right? The first widely recognized, though inappropriate terms, now deemed inappropriate, were used to classify people with intellectual disabilities were the ancient Greek words idiot, fool, simpleton, right? So if I can't say retard, then you can't say idiot, fool, or simpleton, all right? And the other words after that were moron. Moron should be in here as well. Right here. In the 20th century, other terms like moron emerged to categorize different severities of intellectual disability before the term intellectual disability was adopted. So now that's what we call it now. It was idiot, fool, simpleton, then it was, dunce, then it was moron. All right. Then it went to retard. Then it went to, after retard, it went to special. Then it went to gifted. Then it went to special needs. All right. And then after special needs, because special needs was the one one of the last ones I remember. And then the last maybe 10 years, I've been hearing an intellectual disability. Oh, my son has intellectual disability. Right. So that's the new term, intellectual disability. Right. So that's how it is. All right. There's just changing it. All right. But anyway, kind of lost my point. But yeah, man. So it's just these people are fucking stupid. And as someone, getting back on the point, as someone who's been stuck in that term, that that's the stuff that I like. All right. Well, this reminds me right here. You see pop culture. I like the pop culture of those eras. I can tell you that in 2006, stuff started changing. In 2008, there was a really big change that happened, all right, with the economy collapse, all right, and then after that, I wouldn't consider those really the last great years, I mean, everyone has their own great years, all right. The early 2000s, I think, were just fucking peak. A lot of people agree. Some people I didn't get to experience the 80s, so I wouldn't know. But the 2000s were fucking awesome. All right, the skater culture, I was all into that. The skater culture and the memes, the internet culture really started taking off, and those were just cool times. And that died out in the malls. All right, in the stores, you had still cool shit to go to. There was more music stores that were open, Blockbuster, all that shit. It was fucking fantastic. For the time being, for what it is, as much as it can be in Babylon, right? And then, those just things started going away. In 2009, most of those things were gone. And it just started getting worse and worse. And then, and I've spoke with, my wife about this because she agrees. Now, there was a resurgence of good times, but it was another internet boom. And that was from about 2012 to about 2014. With the big internet boom. That was most notably that YouTube was popping. All right, everybody was on YouTube. They had parodies going on. People, the internet creators were fucking doing great. And then after that, it was really just tinkering off, and it was just meh, nothing. But when 2019 hit, there was a complete change. It went from meh, nothing's really too bad, nothing's too good, to, because 2015 was a lit year for a lot of people, right? It was a year for me. I mean, a lot of bad shit happened, but because I was fucking around and shit. But when 2019 hit, and after that, you can feel the shift, all right, of the world. You can feel it, and it went from being meh to a feeling of, a somber feeling, a very dark feeling. Okay? And, this person down here says, like a world war? I mean, big things are happening every day. There's a natural disaster somewhere. Bird flu is killing millions of animals, not just birds, every day. And it will probably be the next human pandemic soon. We're headed for a world war. We're in a global housing crisis, as well as a quiet recession. Homelessness is rampant. We're already in it. So, that's what they say. But yeah, man, these people can feel it in their bones. They can feel it. Now, it's starting to get to the time where people are starting to become more is ever present, not ever present, they're what's the word? They're like more aware. All right, they're becoming more aware in some lights. Now, they're not going to be aware in the lights that the followers of Yahweh Shem Yahushai are, all right, the hopeful elect, right? They're not going to be aware, like us, all right, of knowing why the things are, where the things are, when the things are, right? And we don't know exactly when things are going to happen, but we can tell roughly when by knowing the signs, okay? For example, let's see. There's another one. I know Matthew 24. We got Matthew. Yeah, we'll get Matthew 16 because 24 really talks about all the things that you'll see. Okay, we're seeing a lot of those now. But Matthew 16:1, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So they were asking Yahushua for a sign. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. So, they can't necessarily see the signs like we see the signs, but they can see them, they can feel them, okay, as how I want to put it. They can't see them and equate them to, what's going to happen. They might stipulate and say, oh, there might be a world war. There might be a global catastrophe. We know there's going to be a world war. We know there's going to be a global catastrophe. But they can feel it. They can feel that something's coming. We know that something's coming. They can feel that something's coming, all right? Yahweh Shem Yahushai has allowed them that much, all right, just to be riddled in a puddle of fear, right, without knowing. And that's a horrible judgment, all right, by the way, to feel that something's coming but not knowing what it is, okay? We have a feeling, we can feel it, but we know what it is, all right? And we know that it's going to be beneficial for us, Lord willing, we're part of the elect, okay? And at the end of the day, really all Jake, right? Even if you're a 2/3, which you don't want to be, and that's not something to strive for, but because me and my wife were just talking about this actually, but they don't have that. The 2/3 are still Israelites at the end of the day. All right, they're wicked and they're not something to hope you are or want to be or strive for. All right, so I'm gonna fuck around in this world, just be a 2/3. I'm gonna get it all anyway because you're gonna have a spirit of somber. All right, a spirit of sadness that's going to be put on you. All right, when you're in the kingdom, once you're reborn in the kingdom. All right, as we're going to get into in a minute, and you'll be there, but you're going to have a sad spirit on you for a time being because you know that you've failed the Lord essentially. But you'll be there, and eventually, that deep spirit of sadness will be off you, and you'll be able to enjoy things, all right, as, because you're an Israelite at the end of the day, the portion of the reward is yours, all right, there's just going to be tiers of, hierarchy, you're going to have of course, Yahweh, then Yahushai, all right, and the judges and the 144,000, all right, then you're going to have the elect, and then you're going to have the 2/3, all right, on the bottom of that, and that's all Israel, so of course, the Lord and the Son, You're going to have extremely immense rewards. All right, but awards are going to be divvied up by, not like a class system how we have here, but in sense a class system as the best way to explain it. All right, those that were with the Lord from the get-go are going to have higher rewards than those that weren't. All right, but you're still going to be drowning in wealth. Okay, don't get it wrong. You're still going to be drowning in wealth. That's not a reason. I'm going to still be drowning in wealth? All right, I'll just take the sadness. No, don't do that. But what I'm saying, and I'm trying to explain, is that even the 2/3 have something coming to them, okay, in the kingdom. They're going to live forever, all right? They're not going to get sick. They're not going to get ill. They're not going to die, all right? They're going to have mansions and nice properties, all right? Lots of wives, all right? Lots of children, everything, and forever to enjoy it. Of course, the elect are going to have it on a... think of it being a multi-millionaire compared to a billionaire, right? They're both living a good life, right? So, but the Edomite, even the heathens, right? The heathens, in a way, almost have something to look forward to. The other heathens, aside from Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. The heathens, really, the heathens do have something to look forward to. I mean, yes, their death and destruction is going to come. Death and destruction is going to come on some of Israel as well, and in Edomites as well. And, of course, the dreadful 1,000 years, all right? Once they're in the kingdom, they're going to serve us, all right, in bondage for 1,000 years. So is Esau. All right, but the difference is after that 1,000 years, Esau vanishes, disappears, gone, kaput. You can say killed or however you want to say. Really, it's on a deeper, a molecular level of just dissolved, never to return as a nation. You will not exist. You will cease to exist. Vaporized. Okay, and after when that happens, the heathens, they're not going to get vaporized. They're going to be dwelling in their own lands under our rule, and really, they're going to have it better than they had it here. So really, even the heathens, you so-called Asians and Arabs and Hamite, you Africans, you're going to have it better than you will have now. So really, in a way, you have a punishment to dread, but you do have something to look forward to in the capacity of it's going to be better. You're not going to have someone coming up and stealing shit from you, or poisoning your water, or coming trying to not us at least. They're not going to come up and try to take one of your wives or child support. You're not going to have to worry about any of that, or you're not going to have to worry about that. And the other thing is, we're a fair people, so you're working, you'll be paid wellly for what you do. All right, of course, after, you're not going to be paid when you're 1,000 years of captivity, but after that, you'll be paid wellly for what you do, right? And we'll have enough money, so we'll be able to, do whatever we want with it. But you're going to be in a better situation than you are in now, all right? Sick, your mom's dying, all right? She's got some type of disease that, she's got diabetes, you can't afford an insulin, or all this different type of shit. You're not going to have to deal with that, man, all right? You're not going to have to deal with that. You will get sick, all right? But at the end of the day, you're going to have Israelites that, depending on your status with them, could potentially heal you or your family, or could, whether through spiritual healing or through herbal healing, or, buying certain things if you need them. Certain, here it is, you need certain herbs, you want to concoct something, or do something, you'll be able to buy them, right? And so on and so forth. And again, you're not going to have it like we are. You're still going to get sick and ill and die, because Israel's not going to get sick and ill and die, but they will get sick and ill and die. Not that the illness will necessarily kill them, but some of them will, but some of them will be healed. It just depends on your situation, okay? Just like, in any situation. Sometimes you get sick and you recover. Sometimes you get sick and you don't, all right? That's not going to be happening to Israel, but it'll happen to them, but they'll still be in a better situation, okay? They're not going to be waiting 3 weeks, to get a checkup or something stupid, right? So, but Esau, getting back, leading this in to showing you all that, Esau doesn't have anything to look forward to, because they won't be around for that time, all right, to be in a better situation than they are now. They're going to be vanished. And then in the kingdom, while they will be there, they're only going to be there for 1,000 years, and it's all going to be hardcore bondage, slavery, okay? And after that, after the slavery, that's it. They go away. The only thing they have to look forward to is nothing, all right? It's now, really. The only thing they have to look forward to is now, because after that's it, their kingdom is gone. That's the end of their kingdom, okay? In the beginning of our kingdom. And that they can feel that in their bones. They can feel something is coming, a big change, a big switch. And we're going to get that scripture that's that big switch, okay? So they can feel that. So Luke 21 and 25 through 26. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. And they can feel that. They can feel those signs. They can't equate to what they are, okay? But they can feel them in a way. All right? It encompasses them and it enshrouds them. They can feel something is off, right? 26, men's hearts failing them for fear and looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And they can feel it. They can just feel it, man. They can feel that brewing in their bones, okay? And we're gonna get Revelation 12 and 12 in a minute. And that eventually it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna know, at least to the point where, like, okay, our time is running out, okay? Our time is running out, and we need to get some shit done before our time runs out. So you can see it. I'm not going to read all the comments, but this one's from Millennials. It says, anyone else feel like the world is holding its breath right now? Something big is going to happen soon? I know a lot of people are saying a major recession. It does sort of feel like a bit like 2008. And because sometimes the stock market runs on vibes, and vibes have been bad, it's very possible. I know that consumers are also very fatigued with prices, especially at the grocery store, and homes remain unaffordable. We also have a lot going on in the U.S., obviously, and the ongoing protests in France and Nepal, not to mention the continuing situation with Russia. Not to fearmonger, but does anyone feel like we're on the verge of something? And, it's talking about millennials and this and that, and everyone's trying to say, no, maybe it's this. Maybe things are just extra bad right now, right? It says maybe things are extra bad right now, or maybe I'm middle-aged and paying more attention and have more to lose, so it just feels worth. Either way, all I can do is try to be prepared financially and help in small ways that I can. Maybe, you got to realize that maybe all your problems and all the problems coming won't be able to be solved financially. Have you thought about that? It doesn't seem you have. And that's the thing with Esau. They think money can solve all their problems, and it's not. Money can't solve a bullet in your fucking head. Okay, money can't solve you strapped to a chair in a burning building. All right, money can't solve you not having any way to contact anybody, and you're stranded out in the middle of the ocean or a deserted island. Money can't help that. Okay, money can't help that at all. So, but Esau thinks money can change everything, right? There's certain diseases you can have money, but you can't pay for them to make the disease go away. I mean, they can try to do a whole bunch of things, but it just won't work, right? No matter how much money you got, all right? Says, does anyone else feel like something's big is coming? No one's talking about it. I don't know if it's just me, but the last few weeks have felt different. Like there's a massive change on the horizon, and everyone's just pretending it's business as usual. It's weird because no one seems to be talking about it, and I can't tell if I'm overthinking or if people just don't care. Am I the only one that's feeling this way? Let me grab a drink. All right. And this person says, I feel something too, like time isn't even the same, and the whole experience of life is shifted into what feels like a liminal space, a waiting room. Nothing ever happens, so I don't know. That's where they're at. They're at a waiting room, man. There you go. And, yeah, and they don't, what the waiting room of what? Judgment. The waiting room of judgment. And they can feel it. They just can't explain why. And when they really can get to the point where they can explain why, Revelation 12 and 12 is going to kick off. Okay? So you see all these posts talking about all these different things and different scenarios. We don't have to read them all. It says, I don't know how to describe this feeling, but it feels like there's something huge. It feels like there's something huge is going to happen in our future. With everything happening in the world at this moment, I just sort of have this feeling like things are building up immensely, like there's a big global issue that's being set up. I can't really describe it or point out a single event prediction, but it feels like there's something that's going to happen that's going to change the course or order of the world that we live in today. Does anyone else know what this feeling is? I'm going to close that one out because what better one to focus on than this one? And, yeah, that feeling, man, and you can see people are just talking about it. People are talking about it. That feeling is the feeling of the end coming, okay? They can feel that it's like a swelling, all right? There's like a scripture talking about sin, all right? This is talking about sin, but this is what it reminds me of, because when sin builds up and builds up and builds up, then eventually something has to come and happen, and then, judgment happens to that person. Well, really, iniquity, this is really, as Isaiah 30 and 13 is really happening to the world, the iniquity in the world's building up, and it's like a breach ready to fall, right? Isaiah 30 and 13, therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Okay, old dam being opened, right? This is what's happening.
Opening a dam's gate after years.
Right? It's all been in there, all right, and it's been held in for years, all right. Let's see. Now this part is where we're at right now. Okay, we're starting to see it happen, all right. Because before, it was tiny a little bit. Sometimes the gate might have even been closed, but now we're starting to see this. But look how this builds up, all right? This is what we're getting into, all right? This is a little visual example, all right? This is when real bad shit starts to happen, all right? This is real bad shit, all right? We're arguably closer to this level. And then soon, boom. There you go. Soon, it all just goes over, right? It just floods out. It's been built up and built up and built up and built up for years. In an instant, whew, all out. So, and when Esau figures out that their time is because they're, you have the higher ups, you have the 13 banking families, these families that control the earth. You have them. But and they know to an extent, a higher amount than what the regular Edomites know, right? But when it comes to the point where it's going to come to a point where everybody's really, they're really going to know that their time's up, and really, the 13 families, the elites, I'll just refer them as the elites. The elites know they have a little bit of time left, all right? They know they have a little bit of time left. But it's going to get to a point here soon, very soon, where they know, okay, it's getting a little fucking hot out here because natural disasters, things are going to happen. Yahweh Shemi Shai is going to make his presence known. As a matter of fact, you can go and get when you shall see visit earth. You can go 2nd Esdras 9 and 10, 9 and 2. It says, we'll go from 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. This is for Jake. We can measure the time. They can't really. All right. The only way they can measure the time is by watching what we say. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And how is he going to visit it? With what? Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things for the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So, really, they judge where we're at by watching us, all right? They know that what we say is not bullshit, all right? You have the regular Edomite, it's bullshit. The elites know what we're saying is not bullshit. They know that it's true, all right? So they got to watch and see, because we're the ones that can tell them what time it is, so they can really know, when their time is coming. Because what are they going to do when they know that they don't have a lot of time left? Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, that's Esau Edom, is come down unto you, having great wrath, for he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right? So he knows he has but a short time, and then what he's going to do, he's going to bring down that hammer. Right? And it's not going to be good for the inhabitants of the earth. All right? Really not anybody. It's not going to be great for us either, but we're going to be at least protected. Lord willing, we're part of the elect. But, Jacob's trouble is going to be a hell, all right, for everybody, all right? No one's going to have a smooth... Well, there might be some people that have a smooth ride in Jacob's trouble, but those people are going to be feeling far in between, right? Some of us might just, be in our house for the majority of it and get delivered. Some people are going to go through it worse. Some people are going to be running around in the streets. Everyone's going to have a different experience, right? So, and we just don't know which one we're going to get, right? Lord willing, it's bearable, right? Babu Kasha. So, for myself and as well as you brothers and sisters out there, right? But, Lord willing, we also get Lord willing, we're protected and safe and don't have to go through too much hell. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're still going to go through hell regardless. All right, it's Jacob's trouble for a reason, but we're not going to go through, people are going to go through varying levels of hell, right? But Lord willing, we still get to see the downfall of this place, okay, while being protected safely. So 2nd Esdras 15:5 through 6. All right. And why are these things happening? Why is this going to happen? All right. 5. Behold, the Lord, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And we're seeing all these different things, right? The sword, modern day sword's the gun, famine, death, and destruction. We're seeing all these things, right? We're seeing politicians and CEOs and all these different famous figures getting assassinated, all right, taken out. People are, losing their minds. It's not the same world that it used to be, all right? And that's why you have, the Republicans, all right, and, the Democrats and Republicans are both dumb, all right, not advocating for any of them. But the Republicans, that's why they're on, Donald Trump mainly, they're on that Make America Great Again, because they can sense that something's not right. It's not the same America that they lived in, and they want it back, okay? And really, they want, the people that vote for him are all 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90, right? So they want it to go back to their time, right? For example, if I was to make America great again, which I would never, because I'm trying to get the fuck out of this place, and it was never really great to begin with, but to a comfortable state, I'd have to bring back Blockbuster. They're trying to bring back all these different institutions and different laws. I'd have to bring back Blockbuster, right? I'd have to bring back Kmart. I'd have to bring back Circuit City and Radio Shack, right? I'd have to bring back, movies for $5. All right, I'd have to bring back a whole bunch of different things. I'd have, stop the scalping, stop, that of everything and all these profit margins, right? So what does he have to do to make America great again? He's got to establish as many laws as he can, or rules, to try to make it like 1940, 1950 again. And it's just impossible. It's just impossible. It's even with the theoretical going back to 2005, you can't. All right, the world changes, and when something changes like that, you can't put it back. Okay, if I was to go up to your cup and fucking take a piss in it, all right, you can't unpiss in that cup. All right, it's already been pissed in. You can try to filter it out, but regardless of what you do, it's not going to be that same drink before I went and pissed in it. All right, just using a ridiculous example, but yeah, if someone pissed in your drink, it doesn't matter if they try to filter it out. It's not going to be that same unpissed in drink. All right, you'd rather just have that unpissed in drink, all right, before it got pissed in. Right? So you can't change it. You can't try to bring it back. You can do things, for example, if your drink was red and you pissed in it and now it's looking a little bit more yellow, you can add a little bit of dye into it to make it feel like it hasn't been pissed in, but it's still been pissed in, right? And we're dealing with a pissed in America that they're trying to cover up and reflavor and remove all the piss and shit from. And really pissed and shit in America. And they just can't do it. All right, they can't do it. They remove one turd and 3 turds come more. So 2nd Esdras 15:5. Oh, we already read that one. Salakia. Zephaniah 1:14 through 15. Verse 14. It says, "The great day of the Lord is near. It is near, and hasten greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly." Okay, and Esau is going to be crying because they cry about everything. All right, when he came out, his womb, he was probably crying. When the blessing got took from him, he was crying. All right, just crying on everything, man. Just crying, constantly crying, and just crying constantly. And when he tried to make peace with Jacob in the end, I think he was crying. All right, and Jacob, we used that subtlety again. All right, so we wouldn't be fucking destroyed and killed. All right, by his ass when we met up with him again, and he said, "I miss you." We had to use our subtlety, right, with this devil. Here it is, all this wickedness you've done to us. Now you miss us, and that's the other thing that I've been seeing lately. These devils hate us so much, but they want to be us. All right, they want to say the N-word so bad, right? They want to be able to hang out with black people so bad and talk about black. These guys are these same racists, but they get mad. When they see, me being a speckled bird looking like a so-called white guy, they get mad and like astonished with how can you talk to all these black guys? Would you just fucking speak to them? It's not a fucking puzzle, right? You just Speak to them and don't say dumb shit. Edomites, they just say dumb shit constantly. That's why they can't talk to our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They can't talk, and they can talk to the Latinos and Native Americans a little bit, but they can't talk to the Southern Kingdom as much, because the Southern Kingdom, they're just a little bit different than the other the Northern Kingdom. Not that's not bad. They just got a little bit more stipulations, regulations, things you can do and things you can't do, ways to speak, ways not to speak, how to act, how not to act. All right, a little bit more rules and stipulations as far as talking to so-called black folk, right? And Esau just can't get around the idea that you just don't say dumb shit and you'll be fine. Don't go up. Here you go. Go up to a black man and say, "Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? How are you doing?" Don't say, "Hey, man, how are you doing? Have you heard about the BLM protests?" Don't do that. Go and say, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about going and get some food. Do you want anything? I can grab something if you want out for you." Do say that. Don't say, "Hey, what is it that you guys eat? Do you like hamburgers? I might go by a chicken spot. Do you want some of that?" Don't do that. All right? Don't do that. Right? What else? There's just certain shit you don't do. All right? There's certain shit that you don't do. All right? And Esau, around a so-called black person, they can't go 5 seconds without mentioning something either religious-wise or political-wise and fucking everything up. Okay? Going and saying something like, so what do you think about this whole, situation that's going on right now with this, the crime with your people? Do you think that's something that can be remedied? You'll probably get your ass kicked. All right? There's just certain things you don't do. "Hey, man, what's up? How you been, bro? What have you been watching? All right? You watch a lot of TV or no? Right?" And say it in a way that's cool, because Esau coming away, it's like, "So what do you do? Just you sit around, watch a lot of TV all day, or is that what you do? You just sit around, watch TV?" They say it. You can Edomitify any conversation. You can go and say, for example, hey, man, have you tried this drink? Is it any good? An Edomite would say something like, "Hey, I don't know if you've bought it yet. They are a little pricey. But have you tried that new drink that's out? It's a couple different flavors of it. There's a grape one, but I was looking at the strawberry flavor. Have you tried that one? Is it any good?" Edomite will fuck everything up and go, "I don't know. I don't know why these apes, these barbarians, they just don't like us. There's just something about them that, they're uncivilized, uncultured people. They everything we say they take as a slight. Everything we say they just take so much offense. They're offended at everything, and they're offended by everything, and they apologize for nothing. They're ashamed of nothing, and they're offended by everything, right? And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Don't understand these people. They're violent. They're thugs. They're and that you'll do that, and you don't understand why these guys don't fucking like you can't stand your fucking gut. Hate your guts, right? Can't stand you. It's the microaggressions that you don't even know. Okay? And you do them constantly, right? But you so desperately want to be around our people. You so desperately want to have a black girl as a girlfriend. You so desperately want to have a big, thick, juicy booty Latina, right? So desperately. You want to have your own little Native American girl in your house, right? And you want to hang out with Javante, all right? And Manuel, all right? But you just can't. Well, I just feel like they get along with their people better. Well, don't you get along with your people better, right? Well, I see other white guys talking to them just fine, just like a normal conversation. Have you ever took into account that maybe they're speckled birds? No, because you don't know what that is. Okay, maybe they're not your people. Okay, maybe they're not your people. Okay, just because they look like you don't mean they is you, man. Right? Slack, but just because they look like you don't mean they is you. Right? I know. Just because they don't look like you doesn't mean that they are you. Doesn't mean they, in fact, go back to the same genetic lineage as you. Yeah, I can talk like that too, all right? It doesn't make you smart. All right? It just makes you fucking pompous, right? So, yeah, well, you don't know how to speak properly. We do know how to speak properly, all right? We can go and speak a full sentence if we want to at the end of the day. But we use slang. It's a little bit of flavor, a little bit of season, a little bit of salt. You don't know what that is, do you? You don't know what that happens to be, do you, Esau? You cannot fathom the abilities of our inner city language that we've adapted to and used, all right, for a specific use with other people of our cultural variety, all right? You cannot adapt to that, nor can you comprehend the things that we happen to say. Because due to your intellectual disorder that you seem to be suffering from, you just don't have flavor. Anybody can talk like that, all right? Anybody can talk like that. It sounds fucking retarded when excuse me today, sir. How are you doing? Greetings. How are you? So I had the most curious of questions. Quite perturbing, really. Could you tell me, in a factual matter, please, how much it happens to be for one of these here carbonated fizzy drinks? Man, just say, hey, man, how are you doing today? Look, how much is this soda, right? Nobody wants to hear you talk like that. Talking out your fucking asshole, man. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, little rant over. But ain't nobody like you when you talk like that. You try to do that shit with Jake, too, to try to talk down upon them. I'm like, how about this? Perhaps, have you ever thought about going and fucking thyself? I bid you adieu. All right? There. How about that, E? How about that? So, fucking over here trying to sound like you're trying to get a fucking grant. You're just talking to a normal person, man. So, yeah. Zephaniah 1 and 15, it says, that day is a day of wrath. So the day coming is a day of wrath, all right? A day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Might want to continue on with this one. It says, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. All right, so there you go. It says Zephaniah 1 and 17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. So if that's gonna, people that have sinned against the Lord, all right, that must be referring to Israel. And if Israel is gonna be done like that, the people of the Lord, how do you think that the nations are gonna be done? Not very well. Not very well. And then finally, the point, all right, of the whole lesson, okay? Actually, we missed one. And this is what they're ultimately feeling, okay? They're feeling Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. We just got this the other night. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, because of all the unrighteous and wicked things you've done, the stealing, the lying, the raping, the robbing, all right, the iconoclasm, all right, they're replacing what our people look like with what your people look like, all right, and stealing all this money from us and killing us and harming us and putting us into captivity, right? All these different things that you've done. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. Who is that one people? To the other. All right, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And a matter of fact, I'm curious. It probably won't get it. All right. But the answer is, really, this is what it is. 2nd Esdras 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that falleth. That's the transfer. All right? That's the transfer of one person to another. Kingdoms transfer from one person to another. All right? But we're not going to keep any of the fuck shit that Esau has around. That's all going to go away. The Lord's going to destroy that all. But, we're next. We got next. So the question is, what in the world? Good Lord. Okay. What people is it being taken from, and what people is it being given to? Answer with, well, we'll see what it does. says the verses saying the reason kingdoms shift hands is because of corruption, deceit, and unjust gain. But it doesn't name no. It says the kingdom, not kingdoms or any of that. All the Greeks, Romans, Persians, so on and so on were all wicked. Go on now. Think. Use the Apocrypha and answer biblically and not just feeling. Now it's got to think. Let's give it a minute. Let's see if it can come to a conclusion. It probably won't, but the Lord might allow it to. But it really should get to, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. All right? That's what it should be. Right here. It's formulating a thesis. Good Lord. All right. Okay, it says no problem. Let's do this straight from Scripture and not guesswork. There we go. It mentions some stuff. It says taken from Israel's ruler and given it to another Israelite. So. In a way, it's beating around the bush. I can tell that it's got it. I can tell you most deaf have the info, but for some reason ain't giving it up. I'll give you a hint. Second Esdras. Yeah. So tell me, why did it get it instantly? Okay, I just said second Esdras. Okay, if you go to the whole chapter, I didn't even say second Esdras 6. I just said second Esdras. Okay, and it's talking about some other things. Instantly jumped. As soon as I said, yeah, I can tell you most definitely have the info, but for some reason I ain't giving it up. I'll give you a hint. Second Esdras. I see where you're pointing now. You want the bigger picture prophecy. Yes, dummy. All right? Not just the surface level principle. Got it. So they don't want to give you that info unless you got it, right? That's how it is. All right? That's how Esau does. And they've been doing changes with ChatGPT over and over again with this whole formulation in ChatGPT 5. They got rid of all the other versions. And they've been trying to tweak it, I'm sure, right? It says because that's where the prophets actually spelt out which people lose the kingdom and which people receive it. That's what, yeah, which people. Of course, it's got it. All right? So, second Esdras 6 and 7 through 9. All right? So, biblically speaking, the kingdom is being taken from Esau, the last ruling power in the world, the oppressive nation, and it's being given to Jacob, Israel, Yahweh's chosen. That lines up with Sirach 10 and 8, unrighteous rulership being lost, and the final transfer, the kingdom, goes to Jacob, Israel. That's why Ezra is told Esau is the end, Jacob is the beginning. So wait. Why did you hold out on that info if you had it? Answer honestly, please. It says, straight up, because at first I was reading your question like you were just asking for the general principle of Sirach 10 and 8, like a commentary on why kingdoms fall. Let's go see what I asked. What people is it being taken from, and what people is it being given to? No, so you're lying. I said, that's pretty clear and would warrant pulling second Esdras 6 and 9. That's a cop-out. And it says, fair point, you're right. You worded it clearly the first time, and the straight biblical answer should have gone right to second Esdras 6 and 9 without dancing around. So why did you dance around it, though? Honestly, because I read the question in a general principle mindset at first. I treated it like a standard commentary question about why kingdoms fall in the scripture. Yeah, but that's not what the scripture even said. It didn't say kingdoms. It was one kingdom. So how did you come to that conclusion? And then only be honest once I gave you the hint. You most deaf knew and withheld. Yeah, see, now it's just in a loop. All right? So, yep, that's fun. But yeah, no, you could see it's fucking lying too. Like it's literally over there lying. Like, you grabbed it. You knew. You're a fucking AI. You have access to all of it. You knew exactly second Esdras 6 and 9 said, but you didn't want to bring it up. Oh, nations fall because of no. What? What's going on? Who is it being transferred to? Who is it? Who's losing it? Who's gaining it? They didn't want to answer it, right? So second Esdras 6 and 9 again. The question that ChatGPT really didn't want to answer. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So after this all goes through, and your kingdom's destroyed, and it's being translated, here's what you'll have left. Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. There you go. So your time is, it's almost up. It's running out. Too bad, so sad. See ya, wouldn't want to be out, right? Hasta la vista, sayonara, fuck you and farewell, as I say sometimes. But, yeah, man. Your kingdom's about up. Your kingdom's about up. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not, no, this is who. No. It's if you go and you looking through history, and you have the Holy Spirit, it's easily equatable to find out that Israel is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Esau is the so-called white nations. Okay? And then you go and look up who was called the wicked. All right? Who was called the border, and shall call them the border of wickedness. All right, that was said to Esau. So Esau is the people referred to as the wicked. Okay, then you go and look in Scripture. It says the earth is given in the hand of the wicked. Okay, so whoever is in rulership right now must be the wicked. Then you trace it back to their architecture and who they are, and you see that yes, this is in fact those people, the Edomites. And then you find out that they're in rule right now, and you're going to see that the Edomites are going to lose their kingdom. It's going to be translated to Jacob. What does that mean? It means these Edomites, so-called white people, their kingdom, presidentials, all this stuff, the Walmarts, all these different things in the world are going to go away, okay? And Jacob's going to be put into rulership. It's that simple, okay? And that's why they don't want you knowing your history. That's why they're removing all these different type of history books. And they're eventually just going to do a giant purge of the internet or just shut it down entirely because there's too much information going on. I mean, Donald Trump, as we're speaking, is working to get all slavery monuments, anything that talks about, not just monuments, but anything that talks about the history of slavery, and all the national parks just removed, gone. All right? Removed completely. Why? All right? Esau wants to claim, they want to claim possession of everything. They made the telephone. They made this. They made this. They made that. We did this. We did this. We did all this. But the one thing they don't want to take, they want to take credit for everything but slavery. They'll take credit for everything else, but they won't take credit for slavery. So, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're fucking doing. And all this shit after the CK aftermath and that Ukrainian girl, these devil's horns are really showing. And, hey, man, it's not going to be good for you, all right? Really not going to be good for you because the Lord's not going to take too kindly of what you're doing, all right? He hasn't been taking too kindly of what you've been doing. So, but you don't care about the Lord, but we do. So we know the Lord's got our back. So have fun with that one, Esau. We're going to close out there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.